All right, what you guys are looking at here is the SPX. It's essentially the history of the stock market dating all the way back to 1877. Made an observation yesterday I haven't heard anybody talk about, and so I just want to talk about it a little bit here. So you can see, if we zoom in, January of 95, right here, you see this big rip up, okay, and it continues until about 2000, let's say, okay, and so that's about 5 years, and in that 5 years you see 216% move on the SPX, right? From here to here to here to here to here, okay, that's 13 years. And so once the SPX had moved 216%, you spent 13 years in this range, and you had two major pullback recession style moves, right? Different than back here, we can look at that later, but this is the stock market crash in the 80s, okay? So we're not going to address that now. But these are long-term pullbacks, okay? And then you can see the recovery time. So about 13 years after 216%, this big rip up, it took about 13 years in this area here, okay? So I want to bring your attention to this because I haven't heard anybody talk about it, and it's an observation I made that certainly people who have been trading crypto have not looked at what happens if crypto, which its inception was here in 2009, and crypto has only traded, as I've said, in this very supportive bull market environment, okay? And so crypto's had a good home life, has eaten well, and everybody's taking care of it, and Bitcoin, since its inception, has only traded in one of these big moves, like this 216% move that you see here. Crypto's only traded in this kind of a move upward, very well supported. And if we look at where we are today, if we take the same kind of measurement from this line here, okay, and you can see where you had the final, like, kind of, they would call it like a breakout, right? And you can see that this time frame here, around March of 2013, you had the beginning of a much larger move, which lasted 10 years, okay, and took us to the these highs right here, okay, and that move is 210%. Could be a little more, a little less, within 5%, because it's not super dialed, but it's pretty close. So we have 216% and 210%, okay, right here. The move from where we started to break out again in 2013 to today, about 10 years, or the highs in 2021. That's when everybody was calling the 100,000 Bitcoin, and I sold everything. And so I want to point out that after this 210% move, just historically, what you have seen is this long period of consolidation. And so how will Bitcoin behave in an environment that is more similar to this? Okay. The idea being that if crypto came about in 2009, it's only been here trading upwards, and it's never traded in a market like this here, right? So that's why I'm pointing out you have to learn how to short, and you have to learn how to, a lot of times people get excited, like right now, if we go over to the SPY, we can see that the SPY closed right at this, 429.51, 429.22 right here, okay? And so it's really important that you understand that this might be a top, and Bitcoin is not, along with that, is not necessarily moving it's slightly diverged, it should be putting in a new high right now. So when I talk about holding a ETF position for a longer time frame, it's because we don't know when this move is going to happen. And even if you're kind of under, just like if you had bought Bitcoin in this big bull run up, okay? So you bought Bitcoin back in the day and you caught this big bull run up and you're still holding it. Well, it's only been supported. That's the support that's coming in from the SPY, but it hasn't traded in this this kind of a market where you could run into one of these long consolidation periods here. Not even a consolidation, but just a you know, you had 2 recessions in here too. So these are very long time frames. And so that's why I personally am collecting this ETF, because I believe that not only will you see a crash at some point, you could come up, you could even put in a double top. It's possible at this point with the way that the SPY is playing out. It is possible. I don't think it's likely, but statistically it is possible. But what happens if it starts to come back into this magenta colored line? Okay, what happens if instead of this acting as support, this is what happened in that longer time frame, it comes down here and then just kind of gets trapped, right? What do you think is going to happen to these altcoins? Are they going to survive? Many of them will not. And so, you know, it's something to pay attention to. And so the idea being, yeah, I might be under on my ETF position, but just like if we were holding Bitcoin back in the day and we went down a little bit, nobody was really worried about that, right? You know, it's like a hold, right? So what I'm talking about is a potential. Bitcoin was born here, people held through this market. Well, if you're anticipating recession, which is all you're looking for is jobs numbers, what happens over a prolonged decline in the stock market, but also a prolonged decline in Bitcoin, what happens to these altcoins? You saw what happened with Luna, and if you're on point, what you can do is hold one of these ETF positions for maybe 6 months, maybe 2 years, right? And what's going to happen? That's up to you to decide. I'm not recommending that you do this. I'm pointing out a possibility here that Bitcoin, because it was born here and it is only traded in this market, that if we see this kind of move in the stock market, then you're going to basically be holding an inverse ETF. So when Bitcoin comes down, the inverse ETF goes up, right? So you make money as Bitcoin decreases in value. That's what shorting is, in case you don't know. So anyway, that's kind of the idea I have right now. And that doesn't mean I'm not doing some other things. You can go long and everything, but I want to have a basket of these short ETFs for what might end up being a long duration move downwards. And so the last thing I'll say about that is to have exposure in both directions, because you're not going to be able to time it. One of the things I've learned, especially with this market, is it's the timing it in the past has been so much easier, but there's so many things going on worldwide that, you know, whether it's Taiwan and China, or the energy crisis in Europe, or the Italian bond market, any one of these things is enough to cause one of these big red monthly candles, you see? And so to be able to call it right now is super hard. I can call Bitcoin, but we can't know. No one can know if the algorithms don't know. So that's why I'm saying get some exposure. I'm getting some exposure to the downside, but that doesn't mean I might not go long on something as well. So anyway, I just wanted to show you that no one is talking about it, and I realized that people base their ideas and all the trend lines that are in Bitcoin and and everything have all been based, it's like science, right? They base the idea on this science. But what if there's a new discovery in science? They have to rethink the trend lines. In this case, what happens when and if Bitcoin has to trade in a prolonged downturn for the SPX, something similar like you saw during that 15-year period, or even a 5-year or 3-year period, right? What happens then? So that's my thought of the day. Cool observation I haven't heard anybody talk about, and I hope you guys are well.